Hey YouTube, this is Southern Purple One, and welcome to Boots on the Ground. Today, a very late start, as you probably can notice. I spent the day with my friend from the Off-Grid Mountain Homestead. I'll leave his link there. We working on some solar problems I had, trying to get ready for whatever happens. Let's get right into it. The small business of the day is a lady named Gabby. She has a shop online called Miss Ghibli's Creation. Now at first it was jewelry. I was jewelry, who wants jewelry? Then I looked at what she was doing. She actually makes it by hand. It's all handmade, custom stuff, excellent. You just have to check out her channel. She paints it, she fires it. I think she makes them with clay. So go check her out. Definitely is an artist, that is for sure. Let's get right into it. This is a report from the Netherlands. He's going to summarize the last couple of weeks. He was on vacation in Luxembourg for 9 days, and this was a few weeks ago. When I departed, all was well, and they were saying that the drought would not be a problem because we had so much rainfall earlier in the year. But 9 days later, when I got back to the Netherlands, it was a huge shock. The corn was very brown, not healthy at all. I'm not a farmer, but I was a biology student, and I am into gardening, so I know what good plants look like, and these were not good. All of the sugar beets that are growing in the area were all looking very bad as well, completely withered from the drought. Everything was and still is bone dry. When I was in Luxembourg, there was plenty of fields of all kinds of grains, but mostly oats and wheats. There was also a drought there and very, very dry and was not looking good. He also said potatoes are usually a major crop over there, but I barely saw any this year because they were growing a lot more wheat. Because the wheat is very high in price and they're trying to take advantage of this. I sure hope you stocked your pasta. The area in Italy where a lot of durum wheat is, a special kind of wheat, is grown is bone dry when the river's actually standing dry too, and it's affecting other crops as well. I expect the price of pasta to increase dramatically, which it already has, he said. Macaroni shells were 50 cents for a kilogram in 2019. Now they're $1.59, so that's a huge increase from 50 to $1.59. Our grocery stores are running low as well, but they're filling up the shelves with random assortments of good, but mostly shoving food to the front. The news is saying that even people that have two incomes, both parents are working, they're even going to the food banks. The food banks are getting a lot of people going to them. They're also predicting actual people's buying power is going down over there, and they said 6.8%. The inflation rate's almost running at 10%, so they're feeling exactly what we're feeling here. Also a big thing is people that put solar panels on their house and are selling power back to the power company. One of the power companies just announced they are not going to be paying you the 50 cents per kilowatt that was originally promised. They're only paying 9 cents. This is going to devastate people that have a loan against that infrastructure of the solar panels on the house. That's why I do not recommend that, going in debt to try to save money. Also, they're talking about a town in France that's lost their water. Their wells are run dry, and they're importing water from another town. They're importing 12,000 liters 25 times a week that has to be absolutely shipped in by truck. Also, a coal barge got stuck in the Rhine River here in Netherlands because of the drought. A lot of the barges cannot carry a full load. If they can even carry a load, they have to reduce the load so they don't sit so far down in the water. So there you go from the Netherlands. This is from South Carolina, not far from me. This is the person that makes the fans for heavy equipment. I'm working this week 40 hours of cleaning. Don't know about the weeks after that. We have 2 shifts, first and third. They're moving most of the plant to 4 10-hour days. All of us will be on 10-hour days, 4 days a week by December. That's everyone. Not making any sense. Don't know what they're up to. Lots of ladies now have problems with childcare because, you know, they were working 5 days. They had kids in school and probably had childcare afterwards. Now, this is causing a lot of people's problems with their schedule. I am doing everything I can to put back stuff. After you go from no work to slow down to cleaning and special projects, the next step is layoffs. I'm for sure thinking this company is going to be hit with some layoffs. They make the fans for heavy equipment. I was a road warrior today. I drove over 400 miles from Tampa to Panama City, driving I-75 and I-10, two major thoroughfares. In 400 miles, I saw only 2 public trucks, 1 Walmart truck. Typically, there are many. No Amazon trucks, although I saw some trucks. They were nowhere near the amount that you would see during the day on Sunday, roughly 1/3 of what is typical. This person went to Costco in Grand Rapids, Michigan today, and the customer checking out in front of me tried to use someone else's membership card and was told by the checkout clerk that he was not allowed to use someone else's card without them present. So they put all the stuff back in the cart to be put back. I asked the checkout clerk if this happened a lot, and she said it has happened 3 times in the past 15 minutes, and it's been happening now quite often. Not sure how relevant this is, but I thought it was interesting. It is relevant. People are trying to save money, so they're going to Costco. Some people might not have a membership, so they're probably borrowing a loved one's or a friend's and trying to get a better deal. This is Southern Oregon. This is the fire that's raging out there. The Rum Creek fire is quadrupled in size and now burning in their direction. I think it's stopped in their direction. I think I got an email about this, but there's a lot of houses affected by this, so just pray for rain out in the Oregon area and pray for safety. This person, July 13, purchased 50 pounds of chicken feed, and it was almost $12. On August 24th, they purchased the same 50 pounds and it was $13.45, so there is definitely an increase there. I'll let you know in 6 weeks if the price rises again, and yes, I'm eager to hear if it does. I'm hoping you can pass along this advice to your listeners on how to feed your family on a very little land. My wife and I have a small home in the city of Asheville. Our lot is slightly less than 1/10 of an acre. We produce food and herbal skincare and first aid products, both inside and out of our home. Inside we have composting worms and we germinate seeds and clone mushrooms. Outside we have a small greenhouse, a flock of chicken, a garden bed, fruit trees, berry canes, and we grow mushrooms on logs and in buckets. We sell herbal products. We sell fruits, berries, eggs, live plants, and cut herbs, and they sell them at some farmers markets up there. In addition to making those sales, we also trade with other vendors who produce things that we cannot. It is a mistake to believe that people without much land can't produce enough to feed themselves, and I want to encourage people to realize that there's ways to work on self-limiting beliefs. So you can do it on just a little bit of earth. It just takes a little bit of work. Southwest Wisconsin at nearly $4 a gallon, and a gallon of milk costs as much as a gallon of gas. Thankfully, I have powdered milk at home, but I do not have powdered gasoline. Had a brainstorm earlier. I had a bunch of jelly canning jars I never used. The other day when my daughter came over, that she said she didn't get much food at the food pantry. She didn't get any rice, beans, meats, or pasta, which surprised her. So I got to thinking, 6 ounces is 1 cup. So many of my unused jelly jars would be perfect portions for her to have what she needs. I made rice, different beans, 15 bean soup, and I found tiny shell pasta in the Spanish section of Walmart for only 50 cents a bag. Now she'll have what she needs, and she can bring me back the jars to refill them again and again. This person said they had 2 lines with Verizon. They're trying to save money, and they switched from Verizon to Xfinity, and it was major savings. So look at your bills, see if you can switch and still get the same service. This person's in Hudson Oak, Texas. Prices are just out of control. While it did seem that they had a bit more inventory on the shelves, most items were still fronted and holes are still very noticeable. And they sent me a bunch of pictures, and that was definitely very evident. I was at my local grocery store today and noticed something new. Rolling around the store was a 5-foot robot. It almost collided with my cart and moved similar to a Roomba. Apparently this Tele robot takes inventory. I wonder how many workers something like this might replace. Just another sign of the times and the worker shortage disappearance die-off. This person in northeastern Colorado at their grocery stores, not a single ounce of milk available. This person, I went to Food for Less, which is our local Kroger store, and noticed that lots of canned meats are flying off the shelves. Also, there's a lot of name brand stuff and Kroger stuff is being bought left and right. So yes, I have noticed that too. Anything of the cheaper varieties is selling a lot faster than the name brands. This person just got into prepping a little over a year ago. Someone recently mentioned the price of pet food skyrocketing. Just want to suggest making homemade pet food. It's not as convenient as buying a big bag of kibbles, but it's healthier and can be much cheaper. I hate the idea of people having to give up their pets or make really tough decisions, like going without necessities in order to feed their pets. So hopefully this helps. Yes, look into homemade. You need to find homemade recipes right now while we have an internet. One day the internet might not be there and you might not know how to do it. And there's lots of recipes. So write a few recipes down so you can take care of your pets. Amazon is set to close 5 of the warehouses in Massachusetts, and it's basically because the company overgrew. They thought the wonderful days of during the pandemic when everyone was ordering online would continue, and it has not. And that's one reason, because we're able to go out to stores, but another reason is the crunch that is happening, economic crunch. People don't have the extra money. I live in the mountains in Montana. Winter in the Rocky Mountains make for an ongoing prepper lifestyle. We are often home without access to society in the winter months when we are snowed in or ice in. I want to encourage fellow listeners to the community to gather activities such as board games, cards, dice, art supplies, puzzles, etc. It is important to have fun things to do, especially when the electricity and the internet go down. They also mentioned that crop yields are low but not terrible in Montana. This is Northeast Ohio. Stores are hit and miss for specific items, and a good chunk of my Walmart pickup order gets substituted or just out of stock. We feel that too when we do a grocery pickup from Walmart. A lot of the times it's substituted to our benefit. We have noticed that. They also said the cold medicine has been thinned out really well in their area, and you need to now stock up for the cold and flu season. Get your stuff right now. I've been a prepper for at least a dozen years. I own a comic book and hobby store. I couldn't believe it when you mentioned in today's video, and that was I think yesterday, about the deluge of products being dumped on the hobby stores right now. This is 100% true. There are lawsuits taking place about this from some of the larger players in the market. I'm lucky to do $250,000 a year, so no one cares about the small guy. I can additionally tell you the economy is changing. I am buying a lot of collectibles and collections for cheap. This is after the collectible boom at the beginning of the pandemic. I also worked in the grocery industry for over 20 years. A lot of it, your followers have good observation, but there are industry reasons why things look odd in stores at times. Not anything related to shortages, but there are a lot of shortages. I worry about the next 12 months. I appreciate your boots on the ground. Traveling from West Palm Beach to Lakeland to do some trail biking this weekend. Visited 3 bike parks, and all 3 were no more busier than 5% as busy as I've seen in the past. Seems not many people are traveling and going to do this sort of thing. I don't know if people are out of money or just fatigued or both. I stayed Saturday night in Lakeland, and the hotel was the ghost town. Restaurants were very busy. Surprisingly, it seemed like the locals were there. All of the towns in the middle of states were like ghost towns. All of the cattle lands were very green as they've been getting lots of range. Orange groves did not look good. Many looked to be full of dead trees. There was a few new plantings that could be seen from the side of the road, but not many. This is Pueblo West, Colorado. I went to buy some raw chicken at my local Safeway where I shop. The price for both legs and thighs I usually buy for $5 to $6 per package jumped to between $11 and $13 per package. I usually go to the store twice a week for supplies or food. If the prices are high, I just don't buy it. When they are normal, I tend to buy more and stock up an extra or 2 of the product and put the extra in the freezer. The store looks normally stocked, really high and increased prices on everything. I noticed the soda aisle, everything is still fully stocked, Coke, Pepsi, etc., with a lot higher prices, while the Safeway name brand sodas totally diminished. Nobody is buying the name brands. This person lives in the Sacramento area, California. They're just saying increased prices, they're seeing shrinkflation continue to rear its ugly head. They give an example, a carton of milk, and that would be in like the cardboard carton that you don't have to refrigerate until you open it. It has been 64 ounces for as long as I remember. I recently bought one, 52-ounce carton of milk, beyond unacceptable. So, went from 64 to 52, that's a major hit. Michigan. I always bought meat from a large, well-known grocery chain in my area, and I really like it. I have noticed lately no one is buying the expensive steaks or roast. I bought 2 steaks yesterday, and one was spoiled when I opened it. I went back to the store to exchange it for another, and noticed a spoiled, discolored roast in the cooler. So I went back up front and got a cash refund instead. This is Puerto Rico. I'm a tropical flower farmer. My family and I live on a 19-acre farm up in the mountains near the rainforest. We do have a lot of plants, food-wise, also planted because it's warm year-round. Honestly, if you've never prepared enough, unless you are well off economically, and that's what he's saying. You know, he does the best he can with his financial background. They went through the Hurricane Maria, and they were without power for 8.5 months. That is devastating if you're not prepared for that. He's saying that the power has going up. It was at 18 cents a kilowatt. It is now going to run 34 cents per kilowatt. That's almost doubled in price. He's also saying that many of the young people that are becoming doctors, nurses, and in the medical field are leaving and going to the States. He's thinking in a few years, if they need good medical service, they will have to also travel to the States to get the service that they need. This is a Dollar General store, and this is in Apple Valley, California. Bare shelves everywhere. Gaps are in the produce. That's just, you're hit and miss. Some places have lots, and some places are wiped out. I've seen it with my own eyes. This person says, so prices here have gone up considerable as with other places, and we've noticed that we can still afford to eat at a restaurant as long as we only order food for one. That's right, one of us will order something and share it with the other one, and we take turns getting what the other wants since we eat similar things. Sounds crazy, but as long as we supplement home-cooked food with only one thing from the restaurant, it's really not so bad. That we can still support our local business in this process. For example, there's a Middle Eastern place we enjoy, and the combo platter we both like went from $9 to $12.49. Before we could order for two, and it was about $20. Now it's closer to $30. So now we just get one thing and split it between us. I'm sure pretty soon that this will be unreasonable as well. This is from New York. Enjoy your content. I've learned a lot over the years. I'm a firefighter in New York City, and last night we had a large pile of petroleum-based debris burning. Very hot, not to mention bad for you because of the smoke. But my boss went to the fire truck to give dispatch an update and could not raise them. So he went to a next rig. Same thing. Our comms were down and we could not reach dispatch. This happened a few days ago, and they are saying it's atmospheric, whatever that means. The point on this email is to make points of putting your comms and critical electronics in a Faraday cage, or at least take the batteries out and put in an ammo can. This is Northeast Alabama. I've noticed an increase in people walking everywhere. It's very noticeable how many more people are just walking. I'm in a small town. Friday, they got a propane tank filled for winter, and it was $3.29. I guess that's a gallon. And this is August prices. They're only going to get worse. This is Somerville, South Carolina. Friday was payday, and I generally like to get all my shopping for the tweaks done on the weekend and have it over with. I wanted to buy some bulk beef from a local meat market. It's out of business. I went to Walmart, and the meat was wiped out. Only 5 packages of ground beef left, and this was 5 p.m. on a Sunday. Not sure when they'll restock. The craziest thing I've experienced in all my shopping this weekend, I stopped at Sonic's for a bite. They were out of cheeseburger. I asked for a honey barbecue chicken instead. They were out of that. Asked for a grilled cheese. They said they were out of toast. Finally just said, give me a junior sausage, I think a burrito. When I got to the window, she informed me they were out of eggs for the burrito. You can't make this stuff up. I just laughed knowing all the supply chain issues and knowing good and well that the macro is right. The age of abundance is over. There you go. Some boots on the ground from people just like you. If you got anything to add, send it to southernprepper1 at yahoo.com. Thanks for watching.